Welcome back to MLB Central, presented by Hyundai. Wow. I'm taking this whole segment over with Devin Williams. All right, let's get into it. I want you to show the kids at home. I know my kid's been off of school for about 2 weeks now. Jersey just ended. So every time I have a chance to get a big leaguer, especially of your ilk up here, I want you to do a little bit of teaching. Maybe show kids how you hold that grip. Maybe someone runs out in the backyard and you change their life. Who knows?
Sure.
But I'm going to change your life first at the Skybox because look at this. Since 2020, let's get into it. Awesome front end. You have been arguably the best reliever in the entire sport. And I asked you right before we came on, 2020, Rookie of the Year. What did that mean to you?
I mean,
So pause this real quick.
that was awesome, man.
Did you think you were going to win it?
Not at all.
Really?
Yeah. I went on vacation, and they FaceTimed me when I was in Jamaica, and were like, hey, you're Rookie of the Year.
Alec Boehm, Jay Cronenworth, that's who you had to battle. But look at these numbers. Bring up the first board since 2020. How much do you dive in on obviously, these big-time numbers, but analytically? Are you diving in on your numbers, TrackMan and Rapsodos and all this stuff, or you just let the hitter be your guide?
I mean, when it comes to like my changeup, there's a range where we kind of want things, and I pay attention to that. But as far as this stuff goes, I don't ever look at this.
You don't ever look at this? Well, you should, because you're pretty good. ERA second since 2020, strikeout percentage, and you're doing it with 2 pitches. I know you mix in an occasional breaking ball, but just unhittable stuff. This is what we always used to look at when I came up. Opponent batting average against. Someone's hitting $1.50 off you. Man, I'm a one-trick pony. I'm sitting on 1 pitch, and I'm trying to take you to the slide and hope it works out that way. Opponent OPS, 497, second in the entire game. I want to take you back. Let's get into it a little bit. The WBC. This was easy. When you showed up and we had a chance for you to be a part of this with Ryan Presley and the bullpen guys, take us through what it meant for you to put USA across your chest, be out there, and just that whole experience.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was like an environment like I've never really been a part of, because I haven't pitched in the postseason yet. So,
was it hard to get that like that for me to go from 2 weeks of spring training and then it's?
I think that kind of locked me in for the season. To be honest with you, I think it was a good thing. Like that Venezuela game that you just showed. I don't know how many people there, but it felt like
100,000 people were there.
It did. They were loud, and I gave up a leadoff double right away, so I had to lock it in pretty quick.
Yeah. He picked your changeup off the ground.
Yeah.
He was the only guy who really hit one.
No, I was pretty impressed that he hit that ball first of all, and he also hit it off the wall.
Yeah. All right, go through the Airbender right here. So I want to get to, we'll throw it, and then we'll rack it back, and I want you to get on the mound. Get me to release point if you can, Lucas. Right there. All right. Get on this mound and show us how you do this. Where'd you come up with it? Has it always been the same grip since you were a kid? Have you mixed and matched with it?
No, I used to
There's
throw
something
it
you're doing at the end?
on the two seam.
Right there. You're going two.
Yeah, that was how I used to throw it. And then Trent Grisham was actually talking smack to me in a live AB in 2019, and he told me he could see the spin. So then I just flipped it here.
So you just go like a 4-seam fastball.
Yeah. And I threw it, and it worked pretty well. He was like, "Yeah, that was a lot better."
So what are you thinking? Are you thinking just rip it like my fastball, or?
No, I mean I try to get to the inside of the ball, so I'm releasing it off my.
So you're
off these 2 fingers, my middle and ring finger, but really just focus on throwing the circle down.
throwing the circle down this way.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Just cutting the inside of the baseball, kind of like how you would do with a slider, but the opposite way.
All right, that's nasty. All right, bring up the notes board because, and you were aware of this stuff, you got the highest spin rate of any changeup since tracking began in 2015. Were you aware of that?
Yeah. Most people don't spin their changeup as much as I do.
Most arm side movement. Is that what you were talking about at the WBC? Do you want depth or you want arm side run?
I want both.
You want both?
Yeah. There's times where it gets too horizontal.
Here, come over here so these people can read this stuff.
And that's how I know that it's not right, because it needs to have a certain amount of depth to it also.
Okay. But one thing we've noticed, Eric Nays, researcher to the Stars, says you're not just striking everybody out with your changeup. Let's go through. Do we have a few ABs of him punching some tickets on some heaters? You got people sitting on this thing so bad. I don't know why you'd sit on a pitch that you hit $1.50 off of, but I used to do that all the time. Instead of just sitting on maybe a mistake. As I started to get older, I started to sit on what I believe to be your mistake pitches. But I mean, here's a Carlos Santana at bat. You start him with a changeup, heater away, paint.
It was a cutter, actually.
That's a nasty cutter. And then elevated heater. So take me through that sequence right there. What do you think? And not to give away Carlos Santana, but okay, we're gonna steal a strike with a changeup, get a rollover. So why wouldn't you go changeup again right there? What makes you go backdoor cutter 0-1?
Well, I mean, I wasn't trying to throw a backdoor. It was supposed to be up and in. But, you know, we stole a strike there. And then I just challenged him with a heater, 0-2.
Elevated heater, get out of here. And then you got weapons. If he fouls that off, you either go back up there or then you throw the changeup again.
Yeah.
Here's your teammate, Goldie. How tough is it to face him?
Oh, man, it's kind of, he's weird to pitch to, because
So pause that.
you'll throw a fastball down and in, and he drives it to
Right center.
right center, which no one else does that. So, it's, I don't know.
Is this just a get me over changeup? Run that back to 2-0 pitch. So 2-0, he's sitting there. You're like, I'm not giving him a heater middle away. Let me just get a changeup over and get back in his count.
Yeah, I mean, I had to throw a strike there. So that wasn't, the best one, but good enough to steal a strike with.
That's a little cutter right there. And then you would think he's sitting changeup right there.
Yeah. We've had some pretty good battles, me and him.
All right, so I want to get into this, a side angle of your windup, because I don't think people realize you get almost, let's take a look at it. Bring up the board and then we'll get into his windup real quick. We got stats with 2 strikes, so we're showing that you're punching tickets left and right with your fastball. But this one's interesting to me. Longest extension on your heater, 2023 season. I wasn't aware that you were at the top of the food chain. We hear Logan Gilbert's name a lot. We hear Tyler Glasnow's name a lot. These guys are 6'5", 6'6". They're getting down the mound and extending. Was this something that you had to work on? Was this something you found in video, a coach that said, hey, man, perceived velocity, if you get a little bit more extension out there? Or was this something you always did? Was this natural?
No, it kind of came organically in 22. I noticed, getting down the mound, it fixed my command with my fastball, just, focus on going right at the catcher, and it turned into extension and just kept getting further and further. So it's something I just kind of leaned into.
So, as a hitter, I always used to say I had 3 keys when I was walking up to the plate. I didn't want to move my head. I wanted my weight on the inside back of my knee at some point, and I wanted my bat head to replace my hands. So when you get on the mound, what side of the rubber are you standing on?
First base side.
Is there a reason why?
No, I just always
Have you ever manipulated with it?
No, never had
Always
to.
been on the first base side.
Yeah.
You keep it simple, huh? So what do you think? And get on this rubber right here. What are you thinking?
Yeah,
what are some keys for you?
Like I was
If you were
saying,
teaching a 12-year-old.
I had a tendency to, pull off towards the first base side. So focusing on, really just getting out as far as I can to the catcher, fix my direction. And then it turned into extension.
What are you thinking? Because as a guy who coaches kids, I don't know much about pitching except to just drive off this back leg. And every pitcher that comes on here says, no, that's not really what you're trying to do. Well, a PV talks about almost sinking into your hip.
It's a hip hinge. And
Okay.
then that creates the kind of like the torque through your mid half, and then you see what happens with your arm.
So run this real quick. Pause. Get him up here. Boom. Have you always been a guy kind of hold it here? Did you ever give the full wind up?
No, I actually, this is from last year, I think, yeah. Because I come set with my hands up high now.
So why'd you make that adjustment?
I've been playing with it throughout the years, so if you pull up different clips from the last 3 years, I would come
Just
set
so guys
differently.
can't catch tips.
Yeah, well, I moved it down because people were stealing out of my glove at second, and then I preferred to be, come set up here. So I've gone back to that this year.
Run this.
Like if you look in the WBC, I was coming set at the belt.
Yeah.
And now I come set here. It's just something I've always played with.
Well, it's working for you. All right, we know you can throw an airbender. I don't know if you can draw.
Yeah.
Central Scribbles is next.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to pack a lunch because we've had some players that have choked. In
Yeah,
this before.
Devin is used to throwing just one inning, but he's going to be in 3 segments here on this edition of